Mossop had long-term injuries that were a staple in that pack in the years before, along with Gil Dudson as well, who'd left for this season. I just think, and Flanagan as well, who'd left, hadn't he, for this season. So I just think it's a bit harsh there. I don't know if Richard Marshall has played a part in this decision, though. I know the mutual consent line is often sort of mocked as it's not really ever mutual sort of thing, but maybe he looked around at what he had and what was coming in and felt it's not a good job for him. It's only going to go one way. Because I'd be worried because I don't see improvement in their forward pack. That's a big thing, and there's a big changes happening again in the halves. We'll talk about Lola here leaving in a minute. Croft's coming in, but yeah, I don't know where they go from here.
No. Well, yeah, maybe it was him saying, I don't think I want to hang around, and then they released the statement, actually, we didn't want you anyway.
Yeah. I wouldn't be shocked if it actually legitimately was mutual, let's put it that way. I don't know if he's enjoyed this year in any way, shape or form, Richard Marshall.
No. Although one of my favourite quotes of the season does come from him after they lost to St Helens. But if you take away the try either side of half time and the tries that they conceded just at the end, it was an equal match.
We can all play those games.
Yeah. You take away every try scored against us, it was 0-0.
Yeah. And then it's just like every Wigan first half. Moving on, Huddersfield Giants have signed halfback Tuilola here from Salford on a 2-year contract. The 26-year-old previously played under head coach Ian Watson at the Red Devils and reached Super League Grand Final and Challenge Cup Final there with him. Tonga International initially joined Salford on loan from Leeds in 2019, during which time he helped them reach that season's Grand Final. He then joined on a permanent deal and went on to be part of that side that reached the club's first Challenge Cup final in 51 years, losing to Leeds, of course. So back with Watson, you'd expect that he can rejuvenate him, get the best out of him again.
Yeah, you'd think so.
I think Huddersfield are preparing to announce a second halfback signing for next year as well. Probably by the time people have listened to this, Theo Farge maybe will have been announced. So we'll see how that goes and maybe talk about that next week with David, who'll be well placed to talk about young Theo.
Yep. And moving on, still talking about Salford, their winger Ken Seo signed a new 2-year deal. The 30-year-old Australian was Super League's top try scorer in 2021 regular season with 19. Seo joined the Red Devils for the 2019 season and helped them reach the grand final that year. It's for them to keep him.
You would have expected there was maybe some competition for his signature as the back end of the season went on, so they've done well to keep hold of him, I think.
Yep.
Back to Huddersfield, where prop Matty English has extended his contract with the club until the end of 2023. The 23-year-old's made 70 appearances for the Giants since making his debut for the Super League side in 2017.
Yep. And Hull KR prop Will Mayer has signed a new 1-year extension to his contract, which will expire at the end of the 2022 season. The 25-year-old Cumbrian joined the Robins in 2020 after making his top flight breakthrough at Castleford and has played 61 elite level games. And EFC 78JU got in touch with us.
Yeah, and the way this ends is some mystical dreamland that Will Mayer even in his wildest dreams. But anyway, we'll get to that. He says Hull KR have announced Will Mayer has signed a new deal for the year to stay at the club for next season, which gives him an option to extend his time in the club for longer than one season if not, he can leave for a different club in the Super League or NRL.
He can do?
He can potentially leave to play in the NRL. Excellent.
Doesn't say that he'd be playing, it just says he could leave for a different club.
That's true.
They might need a water boy.
That's true, the biggest water boy in history. St Helens have signed back rower James Bell from Leith Centurions on a 2-year deal from the 2022 season. The 27-year-old has made 18 appearances for the relegated Leithers in 2021 and scored 1 try in a variety of positions, including halfback. He did play a game at halfback, yeah. Scotland international Bell has played for New Zealand Warriors in the NRL and Toulouse Olympique in the Championship. good project signing there. I think that'll be a decent addition.
Yeah. Catalan's hooker Michael McAlorum has signed a new contract with Super League table toppers for 2022. 33-year-old Ireland and England international has made 71 appearances for the Dragons since joining from Wigan ahead of the 2018 season and was out of contract this year.
Yep. Hull FC centre Josh Griffin has signed a new deal to remain with the Super League club for a further 2 years. The 31-year-old joined from Salford in 2017 and won the Challenge Cup in his first season. Happy with that?
Yeah, he seems to be recovering really well from his injury. It's a shame that we lost him for the season, because actually him and Carlos were outstanding centre partnership.
Yeah,
and that's somebody else actually that you could talk about for the dream team, Tumi Varvey, in terms of a centre.
Yeah, I think I probably had him a notch above last year than where he's been this year.
Yeah.
But probably just because... Yeah.
But happy with the Griffin re-signing.
Yeah, he was outstanding in the first few months of the season, and it was a real shame that he didn't, that he got injured and it halfway through, weren't it? And yeah. More from Hull FC.
So Hull FC have extended the contracts of Jack Brown, Connor Wynne and Ben McNamara. The trio have all previously graduated through Hull's academy to the first team in recent seasons. Prop Brown, who's 20, and halfback McNamara, who's 19, have both signed for another 2 years. Wynne, who's 20, has extended his contract by 1 year with the option of a further 12 months. I'm more impressed with the Wynne and the Brown re-signing than the McNamara, to be honest. I think that they've both got more potential and have shown to be able to do more, but we shall see.
Yeah, McNamara's the youngest, isn't he, of those yet? So I suppose, and he's in the more high-pressure position as well when he comes on in games. So I suppose there's development needed in young Ben. But Jack Brown's a player who's impressed me ever since I first saw him play in your first team when he broke onto the scene at that game away at Catalans 2 or 3 seasons ago.
Touched the ball, scored a try.
Yeah, but it was. I mean, and that was the best possible way, wasn't it, to start your career? But I don't think it was just that involvement as well.
No. Yeah, I like him.
I think he's better than some of the more senior players in front of him who apparently have been told they can leave if they can find another club, like Bowden. But
yeah.
And I just think now is the time for him to start getting more consistent game time. So maybe this 2-year deal shows that confidence in him.
Yeah, no, I think that's true. I'm surprised that Wynn's only got a 1 year with an option, but maybe we reckon that there's, I don't know, more people for him to compete with for those positions that he plays. I don't know.
Yeah, well, you've got your front line, Connor and Shaw, haven't you? Who aren't exactly over the hill yet. And is there any young kids as well who play that position?
He is the young kid.
Yeah.
So he was thought of very highly when it was the whole City of Hull Academy set up, and we went for him over and let Rovers have, I think, Mikey Lewis.
Right.
Yeah, we prioritised having him.
I think it's probably worked out for both teams there.
Yeah, but no, he's kind of next in the pecking list, and then I don't know what's below him, to be honest, in terms of fullbacks.
Maybe it just is that big. So, it's the fact that there is those 2 senior players. If he can show himself, then he'll be worthy of...
He's looked very good in the centre, and again, we've got 2 good players in the centres.
Yeah, we just talked about how one of them signed another 2-year deal, so it's... hard to break in, I suppose, for him. So maybe that's why it is like you can't keep these kids around. They'll want to start progressing, won't they?
Yeah.
See how it goes.
Yeah.
Castleford have signed Leeds Rhinos second row forward Alex Sutcliffe on a 2-year deal. The 22-year-old has made 4 Super League appearances this season, was part of the Rhinos team that won the Challenge Cup in 2020. Tom Andrews got in touch and said, worst announcement video ever. Which meant that I had to go and find it on social media and see what it was. But the production values on all of the recent CAS media output seem pretty low to me. I'm not sure what's gone on there, but they're not inspiring. They have pretty poor music in the background that doesn't make you feel inspired. But yeah, check it out. It's about 12 seconds, and only about 4 seconds of them are actually something happening.
Yeah. Castleford have also signed or re-signed back row Tyler Heppy, and his contract will run until the end of the 2023 season. The 28-year-old who followed in his father's Brad's footsteps when he joined from Toulouse Olympique in 2020 has made 16 appearances for the Tigers.
He must be on a low deal, because unless it's a club-friendly, salary cap-friendly deal, I can't see why, from his performances, he's earned a new deal. So yeah.
No. And how is he 28?
Well, he played at Rovers about 8 years ago.
Yeah. It just...
But he doesn't look 28, no. But we're old now, Sarah, I think, is what that's telling us.
Possibly, yeah.
Someone else who's old, like us, is St Helens captain James Roby, who's retired from international duty with immediate effect. The hooker made 36 appearances for England and 7 for Great Britain during a 15-year international career. He hoped to play in the 2021 World Cup, but the tournament's delay until 2022 is, in quotes, a year too far for Roby, who's 35. And EFC 78JU said, England Rugby League have confirmed that James Roby has retired and will now take duties in the dugout with Sean Wayne, including the delayed Rugby League World Cup. I didn't notice that part of it. The hooker has made 36 international appearances, 7 for Great Britain for the Lions, 15 in his 15 years. Wayne has quoted about him, gutted he didn't get the chance to coach Roby whilst part of the international setup, but understands the reason for his decision.
Yeah.
It's a shame that Roby isn't 2 or 3 years younger and we wouldn't get him next year, but then it's not that we're short at hooker, are we, with Hodgson, Clark, McShane? We've got options.
Yeah. And I'd rather he went than played, and at too old an age.
Yeah, because we've already seen, me and Neil last week talked about, was it last week or was it the week before when it was at Alan, but we've already talked about Joey Lussick coming in at Saints, which will be spelling Roby. It's an admission, isn't it, that Roby is in the final stages of things here, and maybe playing at the absolute pinnacle level of hopefully a World Cup final. You might feel after another season playing that's a leap too far.
Yeah. Yeah, and if he said that he was okay to play, then he would get played. And actually, I think to have that realisation that at 35 you're knocking on a bit, really.
And if 35 is knocking on a bit, Sarah, that's us done.
Yeah, I've got no chance, but I already knew that. And yeah, St Helens have given veteran prop Kyle Amor a new contract for 2022. The 34-year-old Cumbrian has made 206 appearances for Saints since joining them from Wakefield in 2013, and was in the side that won the grand final in 2014, 2019 and 2020. And Tom Andrews got in touch and said, always liked him, never lets anyone down, and a year makes sense at his age. Was kind of hoping Rovers might have been in for him, but never mind.
I mean, I know that he's been at Saints a long time, but at the same time, I don't associate him with being like a St Helens sort of stalwart, long-term player. But 8 seasons, over 200 appearances, he has to be put in that category, doesn't he?
Yeah, I was surprised.
Because I feel like I remember him being a player who I didn't feel like had settled anywhere, but he has, hasn't he? He's been at Saints 8 years.
Yeah, he has.
Wigan Warriors prop forward Tony Clubb will retire at the end of the Super League season. The 34-year-old has played 323 career games since making his senior